And speaking of compensation experts, let's turn to a corporate compensation specialist right now for his analysis of Ken Feinberg's statement today. John Cornell is a partner at Jones Day, a law firm specializing in financial services. Thanks for joining us, John.
Thank you.
Let me get, first of all, your reaction to what we heard today. It's kind of an addendum to what we already heard Ken Feinberg do with the top 25 employees, but digging even deeper into the autonomy of financial firms as far as what they can do with their pay.
Well, what he has to do with this group of 4 companies is he has to review their compensation plans and proposals, and then has some authority to cause them to modify them and approve, again, the structure of the compensation, but not the individual pay packages. In the earlier release back in October, we saw that he had to approve the actual pay of the top 25 of this group of 6 or 7 companies. Now they're down to the final 4 with AIG, GM, and the 2 finance companies from the auto industry.
What do you think this is going to mean for the financial industry? Because we have a lot of people talking about what they're doing in Europe and saying, Matthew Lynn in his column today on Bloomberg, for example, saying London scored a goal on itself.
Well, what you see here is an attempt by the special master and the government to influence the design of pay, but perhaps not the level for this group of 26 to 100 for these limited firms. What remains to be seen is how that will play throughout the financial industry. You're certainly seeing a trend towards more stock compensation, having the stock tied up for a period of years. You saw the Goldman announcement last night for the top 30 people at that firm.
It's interesting because we took a look at the top 8 banks, and they were paying 4,400 employees over $1 million. So if you take an average here, it looks like after the top 100 have been limited to $500,000, those below them are going to get paid at least twice as much, going down to the 400th or 500th employee. I mean, what is going to happen to financial executive compensation here? Is it going to reverberate through the whole system, and will changes be made even below them?
I don't think you're going to see necessarily the levels of total pay packages go down as much as you're going to see them reconfigured and see more stock as part of that pay package. There is pressure from institutional shareholders and from the government, as we've seen through the TARP limitations, for more compensation to be tied to actual performance and to be paid out over a lengthening period of years. So you've seen in Mr. Feinberg's package here restrictions on selling stock that you get for 3 years. You saw in the Goldman situation that they have tied up their stock for 5 years. So I think you're going to see more of this. You're also going to see the say on pay vote that Goldman decided to put before its stockholders. You're going to see more companies do that voluntarily.
Now, obviously, the idea of this is to discourage excessive risk-taking. Aside from making sure these bankers get paid less for political reasons, does it actually accomplish that? Do you think it's going to change the way these guys behave?
I think that the boards of directors of these companies, who are certainly sensitive to risk, are going to pay a lot of attention here to risk parameters of their particular companies. And again, using Goldman as an example, they have staked out that the top 30 people are the people that are responsible for these policies, and their compensation, 100% of their bonuses this year, will be tied up for 5 years and will certainly reflect the correctness or incorrectness of business decisions they have made.
What do you think about the effect that this will have on the industry for the U.S. or for other countries like the U.K. Who have made these kinds of moves? It looks like France is going to follow suit after reading Sarkozy's op-ed in the Journal a couple of days ago. Does it create a brain drain for us?
I don't think the jury will be in for some time on that. These restrictions are a lot less onerous that came out today than the restrictions on the top 25. If there is flexibility in the special master's processes for exceptions, as we've seen there are some, I think they will be able to attract and retain people. What they won't be able to do is pay as much cash as New York has been used to over the past decade.
All right, John Cornell, thank you so much for joining us. Partner at Jones Day, specializing in corporate compensation.